We're here with some very special people. I've known Dana for a couple of years. I spoke at a thing called Time to Evolve. It was about conscious evolution and how we can we're at a stage in our evolutionary process where we can choose a better life with making simple, minor adjustments to the way we think. A lot of the ways we think are holding us back, but also a lot of the ways we're eating are holding us back. So this is a wonderful chemistry with Dana helping us with her holistic approach to life and of eating and helping our bodies elevate. Crystal, our host, is being here wonderfully. But Eleni and I are going to do something very special. We're also going to help elevate our communication. There are simple things that we do when we try to communicate, and Eleni and I have been watching this on our Bayside social pages. She's got wonderful judgment. Every time we have one of these arguments online, she navigates it so well, and we're going to start to talk about how people can talk online to have a better conversation. Because a lot of things that happen online, you watch these conversations happen, and you realize somebody has just said something neutral. They haven't said anything, they've just put something neutral. Or, in the one case, we had the woman who posted the picture of the homeless people down at Fort Todd. No caption, just a picture. But the people's responses were like indictments of the way they thought. You saw people saying, how dare you put something so disgusting or disgraceful? How could you make that kind of statement? It was a picture. There was nothing. So we get to see what happens when people project onto something their own desire to interpret it or their own filters. And if we can get rid of some of those filters, we can have a much better conversation. And one thing, a simple one, real simple one, I talked about this at that Time to Evolve, the use of the word but. If you say, I used to think this way, but now I don't think so, that's a great use of the word but. However, if someone is talking to you and they're sharing their feelings and they're telling you their deepest truth, that is an unbelievable thing for someone to share their truth with you. And if you listen to their truth and give it a second, you can elevate your consciousness, broaden your horizon of thought by listening to what someone else says. You do that all the time. I watch how you respond to people, and you respond like you've listened to them, and that's one of the reasons you're here and why we're going to continue this conversation. And I'm going to let you talk in a minute.
So many things are running through my head right now.
but the uses of the word but. We see something that happens. People are talking to each other, and when the first words out of the other person's mouth are, but you need to understand this, you've insulted them. You've shown that you weren't listening, that your consciousness has not been elevated, that you aren't even paying attention, that it's all about you and your ego, and you've just insulted and immediately started an offensive defensive. Because no matter what, no matter who that other person is, they're going to go, hey, what do you mean but? I'm trying to tell you something, and it's my truth. How dare you? And just a simple reuse of the word but, recognizing when to use it, when not to use it, can elevate so many conversations and stop so many fights. But anyway, I'm so glad you're here. And first, this is really fun too. So you two guys have known each other for a long time. Tell us about that.
We went to high school together, and then our kids ended up going to school together, and we're just meant to be, she and I.
We've been intertwined for a long time through a lot of stuff.
A lot.
And they weren't expecting to see each other here. No. So all of a sudden, when they showed up, it was like, oh my God.
It's been a while since we've been in physical presence with each other. So
yes,
it's a special friendship.
Too long.
So where do you know each other from?
Cardozo High School.
High school. Cardozo, Bayside.
Cardozo. Bayside High School, good. Cardozo, bad. No, totally. Just kidding. But so look, this is going to be a wonderful association. We're going to be talking about conscious evolution and how to speak online. We're going to help elevate the dialogue with people. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you.
So tell us about your family again, what you were just saying.
I have 3 children. I have an 18-year-old son who just graduated from Bayside High School.
You have an 18-year-old son?
Yeah.
And you look like that. These are great gene pools. These people have great genes.
In Bayside.
It must be.
Because I have an 18-year-old too.
Yeah.
See, it's the water in Bayside, see?
Yes, absolutely. And then I have a 17-year-old son who's still in Bayside High School, and I also have an 8-year-old daughter.
Wow.
Yes.
Nice job.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you.
And you guys went to school together.
Yes.
Tell us about your life in the world.
So I was stay-at-home mom, raised my kids for pretty much their whole life, and I used to work at 3 Elements up on Bell, and it introduced me to a holistic lifestyle. And literally since that moment that I worked there, I chose to live a more natural, holistic lifestyle with my children and my family, and I got rid of the microwave when I worked there, and it never went back, and my life never went back.
Oh, so wait. Microwave, bad.
Yeah, microwave bad.
Tell me why.
Because microwaves come out of the microwave.
Duh. I'm slow, but I get it.
So it's just if you want to heat something, that's what the toaster is for in my world. But so I created a life out of living holistically and implemented it in my home and with my family. And friends would ask for advice all the time, and I decided to make a life about what I love, and that's what brought me to where I am now.
She was always good at it too. Like I noticed when she would come to my house, just between the advice that she would give and the helping that she would do around it, she was doing it before she actually even went to school or was working it, and now she's just doing it professionally, which she should have been doing the whole time.
Look, I loved when I first met you, what you were doing. I was like, oh, this woman's cool. I love what she's doing. And we've had a nice communication. It's going to be really nice to talking more about you and what you do and to be working with you a little bit. And Crystal and I will be back with some more people from Bayside in just a moment. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.